Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest live TV fails of 2022.
My whole life just flashed before my eyes, but this is live TV and everything's okay.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the biggest blunders or egregious mistakes that occurred on live TV in 2022, be they silly or serious. Which of these do you think is the most boneheaded? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Baby Elephant.
It is said charity begins at home, and for these young orphaned elephants, this charitable foundation is what they call home.
Kenyan elephants had a rough 2022, as East Africa's worst drought in decades had a devastating impact on the population. But if it's any consolation, this clip gives us a little hope and a little levity. In November, journalist Alvin Kaunda filmed a segment on baby elephants being cared for in a Kenyan orphanage in response to the drought. But Kaunda didn't have to do much to get viewers on their side, as a little one started inspecting the reporter with its trunk.
Human actions are destroying habitats, decimating our entire ecosystem and disrupting the circle of life.
Kaunda actually does a good job taking it in stride. That is, until the trunk makes its way to his face.
And with the rise in drought cases, it is up to us to be guardians of our own natural world, save our wild species, and provide a home.
Kaunda bursts into giggles, and though the elephant may have interrupted the speech, it made the segment. Number 9. Today in sports, the weather.
Now with a look at the weather, here is Nate Byrne. I think we'll get to Nate eventually.
Do you want me to step in?
Yeah, maybe we need a bit more of Tony, I don't know.
Hang on.
Tony Armstrong was an Australian rules footballer before becoming a sports presenter on the morning show News Breakfast. He knows all about being a team player, so the network was probably thankful for this fact in July when weatherman Nate Byrne was missing in action.
Tell us what's happening down in Melbourne today with the weather, Tony.
Well, Melbourne, down here, sunny day today. I think we're getting to a top of 14. Pretty clear, so get your washing done today. Apologies to all the people who want Outlook for everywhere else.
Anchor Joe O'Brien tried to hand off the program to Byrne, only for the camera to cut back to Armstrong. Armstrong then attempted to handle the weather himself, flexing some improvisational talents to boot.
And I don't know what that means. Oh, severe weather warnings. Gee whiz, I don't know what's going on behind me, Joe. I'm doing my best, though. I'm doing my best. Vancouver, we're all over the place.
Tony Armstrong can do anything. He is amazing.
The segment never really got back on track, but watching Armstrong play for time and the folks behind the scenes struggle to keep up proves endlessly delightful. Number 8. Manchester United are rubbish. No, that's not WatchMojo's stance on the Premier League team, but it was that of BBC News, albeit accidentally. In May 2022, the channel began giving a tennis update, but it was the ticker below that got everyone's attention.
After a slow start, he eased through in straight sets and is one step closer to reaching week 2 of a Grand Slam for the first time.
At one point, the words "Manchester United are rubbish" scrolled by on the bottom of the screen. Naturally, United fans were none too pleased at this news, and BBC subsequently apologized.
Behind the scenes, someone was training to learn how to use the ticker and to put text on the ticker, so they were just writing random things, not in earnest.
It was explained that the words were random text typed by someone merely training to use the ticker, never expecting it to go on air. It's an honest mistake, and probably could have been a whole lot worse. Still, we now know someone at BBC is not a fan of Manchester United.
To find me watching the Manchester United football team, the best freaking team in all the land, woohoo!
Number 7. With great power. Touchscreen is a pretty incredible technology. We all remember where we were when we got our first smartphones, and we're sure meteorologist Greg Dutra remembers when he discovered he could manipulate his monitor at WLS-TV's studio in Chicago.
Winds will change. Right now, kind of hung up just a little bit. Oh, I moved the map. I didn't know I could do that. No way!
During a morning weather update, Dutra gestured to his screen, inadvertently touching it and manipulating the presentation. His reaction is priceless, acting like a kid with the keys to a candy shop. His joy was so infectious that even anchor Terrell Brown couldn't help but get in on the touchscreen action.
That's so cool.
I didn't know it. Can I zoom? Oh, man. It's a great day.
Let's just hope that Dutra doesn't discover he can control the weather too. Or if he can, that he's on our side.
I've never touched it before. Oh my gosh, you can tilt it? What's going on here? All right, anyway, I'm gonna figure this all out. A beautiful day.
Number 6, gardening club. In the English language, a good amount of words have multiple meanings. However, some definitions are so taboo that they overshadow all others, something Good Day Philadelphia host Mike Jarek was reminded of in May. While discussing World Naked Gardening Day, which, yes, is a real thing, Jarek unwittingly made a very apt innuendo.
Is there a naked gardening club in Philly?
Mike would like to join.
I'd like to see the hose and the rakes and trowels and all the equipment they use.
Jarek clearly heard it as soon as he said it, attempting to list off all the other gardening tools that don't have suggestive meanings. Co-host Alex Hawley, meanwhile, does her best to contain her laughter.
My heart stopped for a second.
No.
Yeah, the gardening tools.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what that's.
Mulch.
It's a pretty forgivable blunder, and one that's doubtless to come again. We're pretty sure Jeopardy host Ken Jennings knows exactly how Jarek feels.
This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Ken.
What's a hoe?
No. Whoa! Whoa!
Number 5, Boris Johnson, meet Benny Hill. The Chris Pincher scandal is a highly unfortunate turn of events that emerged in the UK in July, leading to the resignation of numerous government officials, including Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Scores of British people celebrated Johnson's departure, and the music they used to soundtrack the media circus was priceless.
Well, I think there are a couple of things. Firstly, we need to make sure that we keep the basic functions of government going. That's really important. There are, for example, no ministers in DfE at the moment. That needs to be sorted out.
Early on in the developing story, actor Hugh Grant tweeted to activist Steve Bray, encouraging him to start playing Benny Hill music. Bray obliged and began blasting Hill's signature track, Yakety Sax, outside British Parliament.
And given that, as we just heard, the caretaker Prime Minister can't really introduce any new policy or any significant new legislation.
Since numerous live reports were going on outside Parliament, the tune made its way onto several broadcasts, almost creating a real-life meme in the process. Number 4, reporter hit by car. Let's just preface this one by saying everyone involved is totally fine.
And she's fine. See, she's smiling, but we'll show you one last time that video that has captivated the world.
But it still made for a scary moment nonetheless. In January, reporter Tori Yorgi gave a live update on a water main development in Dunbar, West Virginia. Before she could even get started, Yorgi was suddenly knocked over by a car.
I'm okay. Yeah, that's live TV for you. It's all good. I actually got hit by a car in college too, just like that.
The car thankfully wasn't going very fast, so Yorgi was only taken off her feet. The driver, who was evidently confused by the roadwork, was immensely apologetic. Yorgi, however, without a camera operator, rebounded incredibly well, assuring everyone she was all right and even continued with the report. She did go to the hospital just to be sure, but all we can diagnose her of is being an absolute pro.
I really thought I was in a good spot, but now going to Pittsburgh, I will definitely learn from this, and hopefully this will never happen again.
Number 3, objection in the first degree.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The Depp v. Heard trial may be more of a live stream event than a live TV one, but seeing as the Law and Crime Network is available with certain cable subscriptions, we are counting it. We likely don't need to rehash the nitty-gritty of what's proven to be one of the most publicized celebrity court cases in recent memory, so we'll stick to this singular moment.
Objection, hearsay. I'm asking what he wasn't told.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
At one point, one of Amber Heard's attorneys, Adam Nadelhaft, began cross-examining Johnny Depp's former house manager, Ben King. Nadelhaft asked King a question, and when he ostensibly didn't get the answer he expected, Nadelhaft objected.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay.
Judge Ascarate was quick to remind Nadelhaft it was his own question, leading us to lower our expectations a little for celebrity lawyers. Number 2, Hideo Kojima Mixup. You can't stop internet trolls from undermining serious events with dark humor, but usually that's as far as it goes. On July 8th, former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was horrifically assassinated while delivering a speech.
This gun attack on a former prime minister is just so out of the blue to ordinary citizens. I think people are still having a difficult time just getting their heads around that.
The reported perpetrator, one Tetsuya Yamagami, was arrested at the scene, but instead someone else was head-scratchingly implicated. People on sites like 4chan and Twitter began joking that renowned video game designer Hideo Kojima was behind the attack, along with other falsehoods. Unfortunately, multiple news outlets took this misinformation as fact, even including photos of Kojima in their broadcasts. Several apologies and retractions were made, but legal action has been threatened over the error, reminding us all of the harmful nature of fake news. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Oscars slap. Most of the fails on this list are of the unintentional kind, but this one was completely deliberate.
The feed goes silent, and so does the audience after Will Smith takes a swing at Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars.
As is very public knowledge, the 94th Academy Awards took an appalling turn after comedian Chris Rock took the stage to present an award. As expected, Rock opened with a series of jokes, one of which was aimed at actor Jada Pinkett Smith. Her husband, nominee Will Smith, took offense at the jab, slapping Rock across the face before proceeding to shout obscenities from his seat.
Clearly shaken and unsure how to proceed, Chris responds the best way he knows how with another joke.
That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Smith was widely criticized for his actions, as was the Academy for failing to take action. Not only was Smith allowed to stay at the ceremony, but he was also allowed to accept an award shortly after.
Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said. I look like crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will make you do crazy things.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.